young man. What you do is your own business.
For the diehard fans of horror and its history, a 1974 film called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre holds much weight and high regard. Rightly so, by the way. Even horror's younger fans and those not in the know are aware of its exalted existence. Legendary director Willard Tobe Hooper crafted a masterpiece that even other legendary directors such as Ridley Scott and Quentin Tarantino cite as a benchmark. How could a film like this be remade in today's day and age? Could it work? Should it even be attempted? Would fans turn away from it? Enter director Marcus Nispel, tasked with remaking a film that many thought couldn't be remade. The question is, would he walk in the footsteps of greatness like Hooper did, or would audience rail against it harder than Hoyt when he terrorized Eric, Pepper, and Morgan? Let's get down to brass tacks. Welcome to my Why You Hate video series dissecting films, the good and the bad of them. Check out the Why You Hate playlist for a great horror discussion, and then check it out again. It's not going to hurt, I promise. Isn't that right, George C?
Is not in the file.
I'm going to go over some reasons why some fans have issues with TCM 03, and I know this will be a strong debate in this community for the lovers of this film and the detractors of it. So get ready to pick up hitchhikers that have a death wish, deal with the kindest sheriff of all time, lose your boyfriend in a massive house that you have no business going into in the first place. What were you thinking, Aaron? And try your best to avoid a 300-pound dude coming after you with a chainsaw. Here are the reasons why you hate the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. Number 1, it's not like the original. No shit, Sherlock.
Back the fuck off!
Number 2, story. While the film's introduction and ending are tailored to appear to be based on a series of true events, the film's plot is a complete work of fiction. The film is inspired by the murderous acts of Ed Gein, a Wisconsin-based serial killer that was infamous for exhuming corpses as well as decorating his home with the body parts of his victims. Gein also confessed to wearing the tanned skin of women as a suit. Credit has to be given to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 for changing up the story elements just enough to give it its own identity while still honoring and also respecting the original. On August 18th, 1973, we have 5 young adults, Erin Hardesty, her boyfriend Kemper, Erin's brother Morgan, and hitchhikers Andy and Pepper, who are traveling to a concert after visiting Mexico to purchase marijuana. While driving through Texas, they pick up a traumatized hitchhiker walking in the middle of the road.
You're all gonna die.
Oh!
Bad choice, people. But again, it was the 70s. They try to talk with her, and she speaks incoherently about a bad man before she pulls out a revolver and shoots herself in the mouth. The incident of the hitchhiker killing herself heightened the intensity and gave the group a reason to stick around and try to get help. There are some fans who feel like the incident pulls away from the simple and realistic circumstances of the original. In the OG, the group is low on gas, and then they find the Sawyer clan's house, unfortunately for Kirk and Pam, and hell, the rest of them too. I must say, as a fan of the original, the low on gas situation does happen in real life all the time, but damn, they should have been paying attention to it a little bit better. Driving off into the backwoods abyss of Texas, you better be on your game, I'm just saying.
Just saying. Got me a 9-year stretch in Leavenworth and Alcatraz. You understand?
Some of the big plot changes made in the remake. Number 1, it is not actually mentioned, only implied that the family members are cannibals. A well-known set piece of the TCM movies was the dinner scene in the original in which the family tries to eat their victims. Of course, we see this in pretty much every other sequel. Number 2, the whole family has changed. Now there are 7 members of the family, and the grandpa from the first 4 movies is not included here.
Motherfucker.
Number 3, characters. Andy was a decent enough character. He had some moments, and so was Kemper. As the boyfriend trying to please his girlfriend on this trip, I felt for him, especially when he got killed. To me, the standouts though were Pepper, Morgan, and of course Aaron, played by Jessica Biel. Together as a group, I feel like they all had believable chemistry, and as the nightmare comes alive for them, it's hard not to feel bad for these kids. That is definitely a win for a horror movie. R. Lee Ermey was a joy to watch as Sheriff Hoyt. Every scene he was in was absolute money.
My money says your dead body's right there in that van. Give me any crap, young lady. God damn it, I got just as much respect for a dead body as anybody around here. Hey! Get that nasty goddamn thing out of the back seat of my goddamn car. Put it in the trunk. What the hell's the matter with you? I smell bullshit.
And I'm talking about the type of money that is like the big money that you win in Las Vegas that changes your life forever, and then you do whatever you want for the rest of it. The ability to make you cringe, be scared, and laugh sometimes at the same time is a huge feat, and R. Lee Ermey does it all throughout this film. Erica Learson screamed so loudly during her screen test that people in other parts of the building called the police to report that a woman was being attacked. And then of course there's Aaron. Jessica Biel's outfit in the film is a tank top, bootcut jeans, and boots. She thoroughly enjoyed wearing the outfit, especially in the jeans. Of interesting note, Kirsten Dunst, Katie Holmes, and Jessica Alba were also considered to play Aaron in the film. Things just didn't work out because of scheduling and other matters. Also, Evan Rachel Wood was considered for the role of the hitchhiker. Aaron's last name was supposed to be Hardesty, the same last name as the lead character Sally, played by Marilyn Burns from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. A deleted subplot detailed Aaron being pregnant, which was why, when they went to Mexico, she didn't, quote, drink the water or smoke the weed as they talked about in the final cut. Jessica Biel absolutely shined in this film, though.
I'd seen the first one, the original, and it's incredibly disturbing. And I love that about movies. Also, I'm a huge horror fan. I've always wanted to do a horror film, and this was just the most perfect opportunity.
Her charisma, courage, beauty, and grit were on par with any legendary final girl that you could think of. Her chase scene with Leatherface was pulse-pounding.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
And although the outside chase aspect is still not at the level of the original, it is still admirable.
She's definitely kind of the take charge character when things start to go a little wrong. She kind of takes charge and gets people to calm down in the situation and kind of keeps the group together, or at least keeps a couple people together.
Pepper, I need you to hold that light really steady. Can you do that?
The finale in the slaughterhouse keeps you on the edge, and the cinematography makes the surroundings come alive as a character itself. The look of fear on Erin's face and her frantic nature is a reminder of Biel's ability and makes me only wish that she did more horror movies. Number 4, Leatherface. Brett Wagner was cast as Leatherface and appears in the scene with the sledgehammer murder. However, he got heat stroke during filming and was replaced. Fans of the movie referred to him as the Lost Leatherface. To prepare for his role as Leatherface, Andrew Bernowski ate a diet of brisket and white bread in order to get his weight to nearly 300 pounds. In Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 from 1990, there was supposed to be a scene in which Leatherface takes off his mask, but to keep the R rating, it was cut. In this movie, though, that scene is reshot and we get to see it in its full glory.
Have you seen my silhouette?
Interestingly enough, Dolph Lundgren was first considered to play Leatherface, but he turned them down so he could spend more time with his family. Andrew Bernowski states, quote, "In my estimation, Leatherface is like a beaten dog. He was ostracized and ridiculed and treated harshly by his peers. The psychological damage they inflicted was immense. There's no chance for him." End quote. Terrence Evans, who played Uncle Monty, says, "I think there was a chance Thomas's life could have been different, but the teasing he suffered, coupled with a bad temper and following Hoyt around like a puppy dog, left room for Hoyt to get absolute control." But let's get this absolutely straight, people. There will never be another Gunnar Hansen. He gave Leatherface a distinct and legendary personality. It probably will never be outdone. The complexity of the character was shown, not just the intense violence, but the fractured meditation of his mind. That being said, Andrew was on point in this film, and it had a terrifying version of Leatherface that was larger than life. Credit has to be given to him for that. Number 5. The Kills. To avoid an NC-17 rating in the USA, the more graphic shots of Morgan's death were cut. The original version of the scene featured the shot of the chainsaw slicing into his crotch and then having intestines and blood falling out of him. The cut version cuts away when the chainsaw is about to cut him and totally does away with the intestines falling from his body. The hitchhiker death was also cut severely. The original scene has her ear flying off and her head and blood and brain matter being more dark in color and more in amount flying out of her head. Jedediah was originally supposed to be killed by Leatherface for helping Aaron and Morgan escape, but the scene was scrapped for being too intense. Kemper's death was originally slightly more graphic. After Leatherface hits him in the back of the head with a sledgehammer, he drops to the floor, gasping and convulsing with blood pouring out of his head. Pepper's death was also more graphic. Originally, Leatherface swipes the chainsaw down into her, cutting into her stomach. In the final cut of the film, the impact is off-screen. You only see Leatherface swipe the chainsaw down, and you hear it cutting into her, with feathers from her jacket floating up into the air. When shooting the scene where Aaron is hiding in the closet, Jessica Biel performed crying for minutes without Marcus Nispel ever calling cut. Biel eventually asked loudly, "Are we finished or what?" Biel then left the closet and found that Nispel had left the room, finding him in another room with Andy Ryan operating a second camera shooting inserts for the opening credits. Number 6. Finale. A great finale that sticks the landing. Aaron tries to save Morgan but can't. She's on her own with no help coming. Courage, wits, and being fast is all she has on her side, and at the end, it is barely enough for her to survive. I feel as though that this was a great balance that gave viewers intensity while also still sticking to what the story had already given us beforehand. It was a great finale, and I remember in the theater when watching it, everybody was on the edge of their seat. In a deleted epilogue scene, Erin is being interviewed from a mental institution where she had been living for several decades after the event of this film. This subplot harkens back to the two persistent rumors about the original film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In one rumor, the supposed true-life survivor of the original actual events spent her subsequent years in a mental facility. The second rumor alleges that filming was so arduous that the actress Marilyn Burns, who played the original survivor, went insane and was committed after shooting. Number 7. Legacy. Film critic Roger Ebert gave this film a rare 0 stars rating.
Bullshit!
And I can't lie about disagreeing with Ebert. I think this film proved that a remake of a classic can be done, and it ushered in a confidence to do it with other notables such as Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Elm Street, plus many more. There's no doubt in my mind that this is one of the best, if not the best, of that bunch. I know there are fans of the OG that hate this film, and that's okay. There are many fans who enjoy it more than the original, and that's okay too. The choice is yours. It always has been. At the end of the day, TCM03 immersed us into an updated and ambitious version of a grimy, gritty 1974 bona fide masterpiece of cinema, showing us a final girl who literally kicked ass and took names while looking amazing, and we as fans must deal with it in our own way. You have to ask yourself, was this the right way to do a remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Should it have even been done? That is a question only you can answer. As always, this video is not here to make you love TCM03 or to hate it. It's simply a discussion to highlight the history and aspects of it, good or bad, with you, the viewer. So what do you think? Are you a fan of TCM03? If so, tell us why. If not, let's discuss why you hate the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. If you haven't hit the like button for more content, please do. If you're not subscribed to the Night Watch Zone, this is the time to do it, and become part of this fantastic movie community where you'll never love and talk about movies the same. If you like this video, check out some of my other Why You Hate videos and other content, including live streams here, and I'll see you there. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.